and welcome to another podcast from Leigh Solicitors. I'm Jane Bedford. I'm a solicitor working in the cycling team at Manchester office. I'm joined today by two Muslim night riders who've been sharing their bike rides around Manchester on YouTube. Two Muslim night riders are made up of Nur and Sham. Nur is a content creator for social media and his background is in video production, IT, and he's also a mentor to young people on holistic living to bring balance to life. Sham is currently working in public office. He's from a teaching background in computer science. He's also worked in the civil service and NHS in management capacity. And he also volunteers in charity for both national and international charities. So I first discovered you both when you were sharing your videos on local cycling interest Facebook groups and that sort of thing. I just really enjoyed the videos. I thought they were great. It was really nice to see people that are quite new to cycling, I assume, discovering it and speaking with really enthusiasm about cycling and its benefits and you know how you discovered that world, I guess. And then I also saw you speak at the Walk Ride Greater Manchester meeting earlier this year that we had on Zoom, and really liked what you had to say. And so I thought it would be nice for us to have a chat via a podcast.
Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you for that.
No worries at all. So let's get started. First of all, can I ask you, what prompted you to start riding?
I'll answer that one, Nur Alam, if you want. I think myself and Nur Alam, we were kind of already swimming and we were doing a lot of walks, around Manchester. And then what really kind of prompted and brought these two things together, the lockdown, I think, was the kind of the catalyst, especially for myself, because I realized I wasn't working for a month or so because of, I was teaching and there was no teaching going on. And then when it did start, I realized I started putting on a few pounds and I was getting absolutely bored, sitting in the attic. So the walking part started. I contacted Nur Alam and said, let's go for a walk and let's see Manchester at the same time. However, we kind of discovered very quickly that we got tired very quickly. And, the walking back bit was very difficult. We'd walk and think, oh, it's really good. Oh, no, we have to walk all the way back. So what's the quicker and better way? So I had a bike that I've been sat in my garage for over a couple of years, I would say. I've never even, ridden on it. I bought it, in 2016 or something like that. So I said to him, let's go for a bike ride. And hopefully we'll get to discover Manchester a bit more. And it was the evening time. So we went to the city centre and kind of thought, wow, this is quite nice. And, maybe we can go from here. Anything
I think you're absolutely right. I think, again, we should do swimming as well together. And I think it's the lockdown in conclusion because we were kind of bored as well at home, work related matters. So we thought, let's do something activity, and that kind of pushed us to go out. And that kind of I didn't have a bike. I used to have one a long time ago, then sold it. So when I saw Sham, he got a bike, then I got motivated. Let me buy one as well. And obviously, I just bought a normal one online. I thought let's give this a go, and then I think you just blown up from there. Really, you just went.
I mean, we soon realized when we did go out that my bike was just an average bike that I brought from Argos, I think it was. That wasn't really suitable for a ride. I thought, why can't I ride? Because the bike was heavy, and then Nur Alam I think was the one that kind of brought a bit of a lighter bike. Road bike, whereas mine was a mountain bike, and then I just kind of upgraded as well, and we went from there really. So lockdown kind of worked in our favour in that sense.
When you were going into the centre of Manchester, was that in the height of lockdown? Because I remember it being like a ghost town, and the roads were really quiet, weren't they?
Yeah, that you're absolutely right, and that was one of the reasons we actually enjoyed going out, because of the roads seemed a lot safer, especially in the evenings anyway. We used Rusholme, the Curry Mile kind of route to take us straight into the city centre, or even Stockport Road, the A6. But when we would enter the city centre, it was a ghost town, and it was amazing. There was a few people out here and there, but we got to cycle and explore the city and the lights and everything. Kind of brings Manchester looks different, in the evening.
Definitely. I think also added to
Yeah.
that was once first I remember first time when we went to the library area.
Yeah.
And it's completely like there's no one there. It's almost like we're just going everywhere and there's no tram, no cars, no taxi, no people, and it's so quiet. And we thought, wow, we never experienced this before. I mean, I've been there loads of time with car, with kids, family, but it's completely different. Trust me, those who do go or who haven't tried it yet, if you do cycle or about whatever your walk or cycling, it's a completely different. It's like almost like a Narnia. It's like a parallel world where you get to go like underground under the bridges and canals. So this is something like it was like great eye opener, especially for me anyway.
Salford Quays was a really nice one.
Yeah,
Salford Quays at night looks really, really nice. The media city and everything. Cycling up that way.
It looks almost
really nice.
like you could be in a different country, I think, at Salford Quays for sure. Feels quite cosmopolitan, doesn't it, at night?
Yeah, it does. A bit, you could say, how do I put it? On a different level, a bit like Dubai, some parts.
Yeah.
When you go to Dubai, it's got
on a different level, I agree.
Well, yeah,
maybe. So my next question is, what prompted you to start making the videos? Because obviously there's the going out and enjoying the bike riding and just enjoying that between the two of you. But what prompted you to, start sharing that on social media?
I think I'll answer that one. I think the idea was we used to go before the first few posts the video when I went for a month, and I should take naturally. Obviously, my background is media and video, so I thought why not? Because we both are really, but I was quite involved with youth, local Asian youth, or any background, and I thought what a way to promote if we could promote this in a way in a form where even if they're not in cycling or walking, if it motivates them, first of all, us as well, then what a wonderful way to do it. So I thought, Sham, why don't I just record it? Let's record you, say something few words, and I'll record myself.
Yeah.
I'll put a video together. And that's how simple it was. And it was shocking once we did the first one, the response we got, it was unbelievable. And probably you probably saw that as well.
I think it was to capture, like how Nur Alam got me around to it, because I just wanted to cycle and not get the camera involved, because I thought it was a bit of a, faff carrying it around. And I think it was actually, we spoke and said, let's get everyone, get our experience out there, and let's see what happens, because my wife and my children, they wanted to see where Dad was going, and obviously my students at school, I mentioned to them that I was cycling, so they said, "Oh, sir, can you put up a video?" So I said, "Yeah, let's, why not?" And then they can see. So even that kind of got classroom discussion going. When I'd go into school, you'd get banter. So something you can discuss,
relate to as well.
Yeah, relate to in school as well about exercise and fitness.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then it's just carried on, hasn't it?
It just carried on because I personally like it as well. I like it, making videos and good content wise. Because end of the day, I think the idea we discussed was if I'm benefiting myself and if you give something back to the community where we live, I think it's a win-win situation. Yeah. And obviously, I'll go into data later. The response we got from some personally as well is quite moving messages from different backgrounds.
Oh, brilliant!
About doing this, so
yeah, definitely come back to that. I mean, my next question was, what is your background in terms of cycling and outdoor activities generally? What prompted you to start riding bikes other than the lockdown and what you've already said? Why was that a go-to, if you like?
I mean, personally, my background, I was into football. I used to play a lot before the injuries. I used to play for school, so I was not bad as a good player, football player. And I played that for, I played that for a long period of time before going to uni. So I've got that background as well. So I was always going out like hiking, walking, but it never in a way came in a global community where you can share. So that side was never there. It was just more like personal exercise, work home, and that kind of thing, isn't it?
I think for myself personally, in my teens and 20s, I was very active with all sorts of sports. But in my 30s, I really suffered. I would say I was very neglectful of my health because of work, and I was just working all the time. I wasn't exercising. And I think about a year and a half before the lockdown, myself and Nur Alam, we started, swimming and just like walking. And then So that kind of got us back up. Got my
Mhm.
fitness back up, but still, it wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I think cycling was, for me personally, a catalyst in terms of getting me to move on to doing other things. Now I'm, more active, so I go for more walks as well as cycling, and I do. I've got like a friend who I train with because of my work, what I do. So I need to keep my fitness up anyway. This all kind of started with, cycling as a
Mm.
means to kind of get me back.
But as an experience, as I would say, I don't think I have any background in
Yeah.
specifically for cycling.
No.
It's just something we picked up.
Yeah,
And,
I'm a zero. I would say I was zero in cycling. So when anyone spoke about anything technical, about cassettes, the only thing I knew about cassettes was the thing that we used to put in the VHS. The
old school.
yeah. Now it's like,
Yeah.
obviously it's to do something else, and frame size. So I bought for the first
Wrong
one.
one.
I bought the wrong bike because it was
Oh no.
overstretching. I didn't realize I got the wrong frame size. Even now, the bike that I'm on is slightly bigger, so I've had it slightly adjusted.
Yeah.
Still, I need a smaller bike because it causes like pain in my back and things.
back
So,
as well.
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, I'm totally new to cycling. I'm only learning now by joining a few cycling groups on WhatsApp and a few friends. We've learned quite a lot in terms of carbon bikes and aluminium frames
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things like that.
There's a lot to learn.
So,
And
Yes.
once you start broadening your knowledge on these things, I can guarantee that you'll realise you'll need a bike for every type of cycling.
yeah.
But then where do
I
you
mean, I
stop?
don't know. But I know. Well, I think the formula is N+1, in that you'll always need another bike.
I think I bought my second
But
one. I think Missy wasn't too happy.
Yeah, I think mine's more N+1 plus wife agreeing to get another one.
I mean,
just
that's
stick to
fair.
Indo. I got my kids into as well. One's like 8,
Oh, great.
5. So we go weekends sometimes, so they love it as well. So they're very young, so they like it as
Yeah,
well.
that's great. Have you seen there's a campaign at the moment with British Cycling called Let's Ride Summer of Cycling. It's on at the
Yes,
moment, but there's
yes,
loads of stuff
I've done the
on.
first one. I've done the first 4 hours, I think it is. Yes,
Yeah,
I did the last week, I think.
yeah.
Just one day, I think I went
Oh,
in the
brilliant.
morning.
Just done it, completed
And
it.
it's just done. That's the first time I've ever done something. I've never done anything like that.
I was going to ask you actually, in terms of the bikes, last year there was a real shortage on getting bikes, wasn't there? So did you have any difficulties in terms of getting, I know you've said that obviously the fit and everything could be better, but in terms of actually getting your hands on a bike, I know that you had them in the shed, but obviously you upgraded quite quickly.
I mean, first one, I think when I was first looking at it, there was a bit shortage. I asked. Good thing I had a lot of friends are into cycling, and good friend of mine, he actually supplies to Pakistan, and he repairs quite high end bikes. He has like a shop
Oh,
in
right.
Oldham, and he has a shed. He fixed it. So I just told him, I said, you know what, just take one from me. You can pay me after, get into it, and then when you like
Oh,
it, you can pay me up.
fantastic.
So I was quite lucky in that sense, but
Yeah.
to get my hands on it very quickly. I don't know what you saw.
I just went on good old Facebook Market, and I picked one up from Daily
Yeah.
Bridge, I think
Yeah.
it was, or Runcorn, I think I went to. Yeah, so I just got, like I said, I just saw one there. It looked nice and red, and I thought, and Nur Alam said, "Look, that looks like a nice bike. Why don't you just go and pick it up?" So I just drove down and just picked one up. But in terms of like looking in Halfords and places like that, I think a lot of them were, sold out. So I thought, right, before I do jump into the deep end, buying, I need to see what suits me. So that's why I wasn't prepared to buy a brand new bike.
Yeah.
Now I'm considering getting a more better bike that's going to suit my needs.
It's really, yeah, it's definitely tricky as a beginner to really know what the right bike is for you. When you don't really know what it is that you're going to be doing, or what you're going to need it for.
I mean, the one thing I've kind of realized as well is that mine's like a road bike, and so is Nur Alam's. Maybe a hybrid bike, I think something that I might be looking at. So if you need to commute to work, so it's kind of works because the roads, obviously, as we know in Manchester, sometimes generally are not the best kind of surface. So Nur Alam's come off a few times off his bike.
Oh no!
Yeah, he has, and I've recorded it. You've not put it on YouTube. He's cut that Don't know why. He's not put them on. I've fallen. I got my tire stuck in the tram.
Yeah.
The tram
Oh
line.
no!
City centre.
So I can't, it was my fault. I was looking to the right. I didn't realize there was one in front, and then so I've gone over as well. So I think a hybrid bike. Sometimes when you're in a situation where you need to kind of maybe come off a curve, or a road bike's not suitable. So that's something that I am considering. Maybe just get a hybrid bike, kind of kill two birds.
It's a good point. I think my commuting bike is an old cyclocross bike, because it's got wider tire clearance. So you're exactly right about identifying having slightly fatter wheels for commuting. That's just right. To cope with the sort of rutted roads and whatever else. And things like being able to put a rack on the bike or mud guard. That's so right. That if it's raining, you're not getting a wet bum.
That's right.
All of those things are really useful.
My younger brother, he has we call it a rhino bike. It's about 25 kg. It's absolutely heavy, but he's got all his bags because he commutes. He's got a cage at the back. He's got two stuff on the side. I don't know what he carries, but we normally go together.
Be really strong.
He's got very strong legs. I have to say. He sometimes catch up with him on the road bike, so he's a very fit guy.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes deliberately riding a bike that's heavy with sort of not a massive range of gears can really improve your fitness.
That's right. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, for your own experience over the last year, and anyone that you've sort of encountered in your cycling journey, what would you say has been the biggest benefits to you in terms of, physically and mentally?
On that point, I'll go first. I think that's an excellent question. First of all, I think we sometimes get into this cycle of mundane work, family, which is fantastic. You're meant to do anyway, but sometimes you need your own time, space, and going out, walking or cycling. I think it really refreshes your mind mentally. Number one. So when you start doing cycling, I think that's something we're feeling every single time. When you come back, you're tired, but you have a fresh shower, and you can sleep like a baby. You can, be motivated to do other work as well. But in terms of response, or in terms of what we're doing in terms of cycling, I think one story I'd like to share was we got this email on Facebook. I think I shared it with yourself.
Yeah.
I won't mention the name, obviously, for data. She mentioned that for the first lockdown, 6-7 months, she's got a visually impaired child, and she hasn't been gone out because of COVID. It's a new thing. No vaccine not been found yet. She was so scared. She stayed at home literally 8 months. I don't know how she survived. And she's seen our video like yourself as well. And she said, what? Just because I saw your video and I thought you guys are from Lebanon as well, Burnage, similar area. Let me try this. So she went out on the weekend. She goes, what? I just want to thank you guys. I know it doesn't mean a lot, but for me it did. For me and for my child. And we thought that was what a wonderful message to get. We never expected this. And this is like just one. We've got so many like that other stories to tell.
That is incredible. What a lovely and reaffirming for you two as well, in terms of knowing that what you're doing is making a difference to people. How about you, Sham?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think for myself, obviously as I mentioned at the beginning, but mental health wise, it's been really refreshing. But just generally my own fatigue level, when I was at work, I did notice I was getting tired sometimes, and then it has an effect. So now I'm actually more energetic. As I said, it's pushed me towards doing other things. So, I'm not just besides cycling, I'm doing a lot of other activities now, more walks with my family, my kids. And it's had a positive effect on my, family life, and work life. And, I'm benefiting from it, hugely. And, it just started off with that, having that, mentality, mindset of wanting to change and doing something different outside of the comfort zone that we're not used to. So now it's kind of enabled me to do other things that I've not normally done. So like even my work, I'm doing other things. I'm pushing myself now more, mentally. I'm using my mind a lot at work at the moment, just training, learning. But being physically fit has enabled me to kind of maintain that level of, ability at my work. So, I don't lose out there. And then, when I'm at home, I can kind of concentrate and just focus on my family, and then I've got my own time with cycling and doing other things. So it's kind of brought a nice kind of circle, you can say, to my life.
That's brilliant. So are you like more energized, more able to engage with your family after a long day at work? That's definitely to the benefit. Your wife should definitely approve further bike purchases on that basis.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of work, even where I work, they have, I think it's buy a bike scheme or something. Is it right to work scheme?
Yeah, the
Right to work.
work
Yeah,
scheme.
right to work scheme. Yeah, so they offer that at work now, and anyone who does, and any employers that do offer that, and people are thinking. I think it's definitely something that people should consider, especially going to work. If you're working in the city centre, and you only live, 4 or 5 miles away, cycling is a different means and different way, especially the summers that we're having. I would recommend that people do try, using cycling to work as an option.
I think we're kind of lucky as well, being in Manchester. It's quite flat. It's almost like when we went to Denmark.
Yeah,
I think that kind of helps you to motivate because a lot of our friends from, let's say, Nelson and Oldham, and it's hilly. As soon as they get out of the house, the other day is up or down. So it demotivates the person. Whereas we're quite lucky because it's quite flat and it's not much effort at the beginning, and obviously you can find routes to improve yourself. But at the beginning, anybody could do it really. So go for it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I do think when you live in a hilly place, there's an immediate physical barrier there, isn't there, which we don't have as residents of sort of, I'm in South Manchester, you guys are over in Levenshulme. It's all quite flat, isn't it? Is that right? You're in Levenshulme? Yeah.
That's right. Levenshulme and Burnage. It's not far off, but yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. It's all kind of in the same area. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. If you are faced with hills and other barriers like that, then it does make it a little bit more difficult to get into it because you kind of need to have a base level of fitness, don't you, for that? But
and we're kind of lucky as well. We've got the loop. I'm sure you're aware, like the Levenshulme loop that goes all the way.
Loop,
Fallowfield loop, you can say. And, we discovered that. So, that was really good.
I mean, that's literally 2 blocks away where I live. So, and I've been living for all my life. I didn't even know. So that just to show that if you and
wow.
it's like it's like Narnia, and I took my kids. I go, I never knew this. So I didn't know myself. Never mind you.
That's brilliant. That is a fantastic piece of cycling infrastructure, I guess. But it's walking and cycling, isn't it? And it links up South Manchester to the north of Manchester through the east side of Manchester brilliantly. It's fantastic. The videos that you've been doing, what's come out of them? I mean, I know that you've shared some of the stories that, the messages that you've had, but has there been any surprises or unexpected results from doing the videos?
I think we have quite a few actually lined up. First of all, our intention was to promote, obviously motivate ourselves, and anybody who watches the videos to comment, and also to do something in their own area. So the most majority overall, we get that from wherever we go, Tesco, Asda, or whatever. They say, I've seen you on YouTube, I've seen you here and there. But the biggest thing we've got was shocking was we got article written from our Asian magazine, online magazine, which reaches about 300,000 all around UK. So it's a national Asian paper. So we've been featured on the homepage. Again, our story, what we started this for. We've been approached by different magazines. We recently got touched by BBC in Manchester. They want to do some type of show or podcast, or there's something happening. I'm not sure exactly, radio show or whatever. We had like other YouTubers.
Yeah, Ozzy Raja.
Ozzy Raja is like a famous YouTuber, so we did collaboration with him. There's so much happening, isn't it?
Who did you just speak to the other day?
The other day, I just had a Zoom meeting with a Korean YouTuber, very famous. If you Google his name, it's called Dawood Kim. He used to be ex-singer. Now he's become, you could say, changed his lifestyle. Left drugs, left alcohol, and left all this, and settled down. So he does like motivation talks. So I think he's got about 2.8 million followers on Facebook and social media.
He's from Korea, isn't he?
Korea. He's Korean, yeah. So he got in touch. So we did a discussion with him just Monday, just last week. So he's excited. So we've got projects coming up like this as well. So it is.
I think for
Shocking.
me the surprise, like not say surprise, but it's just the messages sometimes that we do get, or when I was in school,
Hmm.
and then just generally people saying, my friends, old friends that I've not spoken to in a while, they do send me messages and say that, oh, can we join you? Can we
Hmm.
cycle as well? We put a bit of weight
Oh,
on, and
brilliant.
so these kind of messages I'm getting
Hmm.
all the time, and they're asking me questions now. What bike shall I buy? And shall I try this? Shall I try
You're
that?
right. You're right.
Because I'm the expert now apparently. So it's nice to kind of connect with old friends again, and just using cycling as a means to kind of meet old friends as well. So that's been nice.
I mean, you're 100%
Yeah.
correct. Also, not only friends and family, I forgot to mention, we get comments on Facebook personally from, we had this, I think the ex-professor retired from Birmingham. We had this young student from other side of this country, Wales, I think. And they want to do some vlogs, or there's some type of, they think if you to come down, could you go with you? Because obviously my background's media, I did photography as well. So some of them, they say, look, I like cycling, but I'm interested in your photography, the way you take the angle. And so we have a long discussion about camera, what camera I use, what lenses I'm using, and the angle I'm taking. So I know we welcome anyone. So yeah, come down. We'll go down. We'll take some pictures. We're not famous or anything. Just normal guys. You can by all means come down. So we have this, you could say, community of all background, from the Asian, from the from the black minority background, from the white background, from all, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it's wonderful to see connecting just through cycling.
yeah,
That's
We've
brilliant.
tapped into so many avenues, haven't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
Made a lot of friends. I would say I feel,
Yeah.
especially when I joined the cycling group,
Mm.
it was something, like, a family I would say that I never kind of associated with before.
Mm.
You always see someone cycling, you think, oh, right, they're cycling, but just, cycling with and meeting people and then just talking, you realize you have so much in common with a lot of
Yeah.
people, and, and then you can just have a quick talk, quick chat,
Mm.
and it makes a difference to someone's life. And then,
Mm.
it's kind of fulfills my purpose in that sense.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
That's
I mean,
brilliant.
we've been
That's
approached
brilliant.
by different. We've been approached lastly. Also, we've been approached by different charities. So recently, there's one quite famous charity. They're saying they want to sponsor, and because of the filming, I understand from their perspective, exposure, um, fitness, tie in of charity work as well. So they want to cycle to France, and I've never ever done. I haven't been to Oldham yet, or Bradford. Never mind, go to France. I said, "You having a
Oh,
laugh?"
wow.
No, why are you going to do that now? Maybe in the
That
future.
sounds that. But if you do that, that'll be what an amazing result from just getting your bike out at last year and having and just having some fun. That's brilliant.
And just before I come, my friend, he's gone road trip with a car. So he goes, look, you do these videos. Why do you come along? We have a support van, and you guys cycle, and we'll support you for good cause, for like a charitable cause. So it's
Yeah,
just amazing ideas coming through at the moment.
yeah. I mean, that would be fantastic if you did. I mean, it would be inspiring, wouldn't it, to other people if you did manage to do that. It certainly would be. I mean, there's loads of
Yeah.
people that
Mm.
I take inspiration from that do those sorts of challenges.
Mm.
So yeah, the world's your oyster in that respect. I was going to ask you, have you managed to recruit any new cyclists? So people that weren't cycling and then have seen you out riding, and because obviously you're really good at extolling the virtues of cycling on your videos. You speak really naturally and enthusiastically about how good it is, and it's really good to hear it from somebody that's quite new to it, because it
Mm.
that can be more convincing potentially.
I think I was speaking to somebody else. I think also because cycling, I have seen cycling all my life. My uncle was a cyclist, but I think there was no fun. I think this online presence brings people, communities together, and exposes, because a certain you could say, for example, the Asian background, or what they're doing in terms of exercise. So I think cycling being in our family, or generally in Asian community, is, I see everywhere, but I think it never been in, you could say, in the limelight. So from that perspective, we get so many requests. So in terms of changes, we have, for example, my nephew. We did the last block to Heaton Park. It's on the video, and he's not very keen cyclist. He's like a teenager. He's got friends that circle. They're into the games. PS4, PS5. I don't know what they play nowadays. And I said to him, "Why do you come along one day?" And now he's even got a bike. I bought him a helmet. I bought him, all the for decathlon,
Oh,
and he's so
brilliant.
pumped. He's so pumped. He goes, "When's the next one, Uncle? When's the next one going?" And he's got his friends involved. So we have this age group. So I've created different WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
One is like my age, and like you could say older age compared to them. One's like a teenager stroke parent group. So I've done a few couple of rides with them. I did one yesterday. I cycled to Hyde, and he's been following us on Facebook, and he was so surprised. So I took him around. We're getting so many requests, isn't it? Really.
Even our neighbor, one of the the person that lives on my street, he comes with us regularly as well. And there's a few people in Levenshulme that have joined us on bike rides.
That's right.
So we are getting regular contact with people. And I think they have, if you look at the videos recently, I've kind of come off the scene a little bit, but I will be jumping back on again. I've kind of let Nur Alim kind of take the youngsters out a little bit. I've just been a bit busy with work and training and things. But yeah, I think
you can't keep up.
Yeah, and I can't keep up. I think that's what it is as well. My son, we had a bike, but I sold his bike a year and a half ago. He's outgrown it, but I've never. Same problem. I'm finding it difficult to get a bike for him. So I was out last night trying to get a bike. So my son, he's only 12. I'm trying to get him out now. So watch this space. So hopefully he'll be in one of the next videos as well.
I think it's also very wonderful. That one thing I've learned very quickly in this 1 year period is that, especially talking about youngsters, because that's fine. We're doing cycling and we like meet your family, married. But I think one of our teachers also, in a way, taught us that you always think, how can you give something back in a positively, regardless of religion, color, race, back, so that they feel motivated for the next generation to come take forward. And I think having that intention, having that mind, a lot of youngsters actually, teenage age, requests for like rides. Can you come down? Can you do this? And I think because I make those videos, I see the point where they have their own channels and they have the Facebook and social media, Snapchat. So when they come along, they say, "Can I take a picture?" So I know they're relating back to social media. So in a way, they're like connecting to other age groups. So I find that amazing and wonderful. And I don't say no. I say, "Fine, take pictures, whatever you want," because I know what they're trying to cover and how to do this. So cycling links to so many adventures and venues.
That's brilliant. I mean, you're right. If they're taking photos, they will be sharing them on their own platforms, won't they? Which, as you say, is definitely going to be linking up other people that are beyond your reach potentially, but not beyond theirs. That's great. So what are your future plans for both the videos and generally for cycling, kind of separate to videos, but, in terms of do you have any cycling goals as well as the plans for the videos?
I think end of last year, Ramadan, I think, I'm not sure which, I think it is the Cycling UK National, I think. It's a government by cycling company organization. They got in touch with us where they want to create a pamphlet or like a book or folder, like food, from let's say from a Muslim background. How do you cycle while fasting? So they've kind of it's a long-term project where we're going to discuss about what we eat, what's best food. I'm not good at food dieting anyway, but we're working with someone to come up with a scheme so that will benefit. You could say in a textbook, if someone does come along or they don't come along, they can read with graphics and imagery and which way to go. Let's say they want to go to certain places while they're fasting. Can they do this? What happens if they feel thirsty? What's the ruling behind it? So there is something in the pipeline as a project, you could say, off cycling but related to cycling.
I think as well we discussed, but for myself personally, going into different parts of the UK, take our bikes down and then just cycling in different towns, different areas, and then hopefully one day maybe abroad, having meeting some of the people that we have made contact with, in Asia as well. We've got a lot of people in Asia that contact us. If we're ever there, I'd like to get a bike and then just cycle and hopefully get that. We know sometimes obviously getting a bike is expensive, but starting off with a basic bike, because obviously we're living in an era and a time where everyone's on their mobile phones and not active.
Mm.
My children, and I brought a trampoline. I think they've used it for about 2 weeks, and that's about it. So if I can get them a bike and then force them out and say, look, we grew up in the 80s, 90s. We got to see the world in a different way, and I think the children are losing out. The teenagers are losing out. So for me, it'd be really nice if my children, first of all, are kind of motivated to be, at least going out, like enjoy the exercise, enjoy the
Mm.
nature, because the world's beautiful, and I think that people are missing out on a lot of things, and you don't want your life to pass by.
When I'm out on my bike rides on the weekends and I'm in the middle of beautiful countryside or at the top of a hill or whatever, I always say I'm so lucky that this is my interest, that this is one of my hobbies, because you just get to see things that if you're in a car you don't really take in the same way, I don't think. And I really liked your point in one of your videos where you were saying you get to see what's around you in a different way. You wouldn't necessarily see the little details of your environment, or like the beauty of even just local parks. You just don't see them when you're going from A to B in a car, because you're not going through those areas, or you're going through so quickly that you don't see those things.
Nur Alam's been on a few rides, and I've been with somebody where it's more about competition and just riding hard. Whereas myself, for me, cycling is more about enjoy the ride, even if it means stopping for 10 minutes, having a chit chat and then going again, stop again, chit chat, enjoy the ride and the experience. That's more important for me. Obviously, fitness does come and build up. We have a bit of a.
I think that's what the idea of our channel as well. It's not about, I get it, racing, and you have that. Maybe you can do that, but I think our generally it's about welcoming everyone, and communication, working with everyone in together. I think that's the goal, key.
And if anyone does become a professional cyclist and wins a gold medal, from our videos, then brilliant, go for it, guys. I don't think I'm going to be going that level, but it's kind of I think just a encouragement, kind of. That's how we look at it. So
I just remembered yourself mentioned about plans for future. I think, like I said, in terms of charity, we have a lot of people asking. They'll sponsor and they'll get the jersey going. I think we got one from Cheadle, CCC. I think Cheadle Cycling Group. They have actually printed jerseys for some ride coming up. We've got another one approached us to go to Spain. I think it's in Spain, isn't it? To go to Spain, and they're doing some like a retreat for health and fitness, and they want to tie in the cycling angle. So they're saying, look, we've seen you guys are Muslim, you guys are Asian background, we'd love to have you on this tour. I think it's a week tour thing, but they want us for 3-4 days, and obviously they pay for everything. And at the moment I'm just not ready just yet to take such a big you could say, because first of all I'm not professional at what level, so if they ask me the silly question I don't know what to say, how to expect. So maybe in the future, I didn't say no, we didn't say no, but it's good to have something in the background. It'll be good experience for us as well, isn't it, if you do it.
That's great. That's great that you're getting that recognition as well for what you're doing. And I guess in terms of being concerned about whether or not you are experienced enough, they know what they're getting, presumably, because they know what you're doing on your videos, I guess. But I mean, the final question I've got for you both is, what would you like to see happen with regards to making cycling more accessible and more inclusive? But also, is there anything you think that existing cycling groups could do to help with that?
I've been trying to encourage people to, at least try getting a bike, and instead of getting a car to go shopping, which is 200-300 yards away or even a mile away, why not walk, or why not get a bike? Because I've done shopping on my bike now. Just put it on the handles and come back. You try using different means of, especially in the Asian community as well. People just generally tend to just use cars, and cycling, and the health. There's a lot of diabetes issues, a lot of health, heart-related problems, cholesterol issues within the Asian community. And it's something that I'm trying to kind of individually, when I do speak to people, I say, look, this is a way of benefiting. And I think if we can we seem to be working with all types of communities. I think it will kind of help them understand that actually it's not just for, you know, one type of community. It's actually anyone can do it,
Yeah.
regardless of your age. I mean, I'm 41 and I've started, last year. So it doesn't matter
Mm.
what age group you are in, and especially with the youngsters that we are getting in our YouTube videos, that start early, start young. Cycling is for everyone. It's good for your health.
Yeah.
And we should try to use it, especially for the environment we're living in now, global warming and things like that. We're human beings. This is our planet. We need to leave it for our future generations, and we can't be selfish. So it kind of is a
Yeah.
bigger picture as well. So that's my kind
Yeah,
of
completely
angle.
agree. I mean, also, the more that people start riding bikes, the less you would hope that the less traffic, like car traffic, there would be on the roads, which then would feel like there was less conflict probably between motorists and cyclists,
Yeah,
because there'd be more people riding bikes. And also, the more that people ride bikes, the better they are when they're driving around cyclists as well, is my
yeah,
experience.
definitely. And
So
I
then,
think what I would love to see is Netherlands. Like what in Netherlands they cycle so
it'd be
much.
brilliant,
In Denmark, I was born in Denmark, so I
Mm.
vividly remember, there were areas where there was no car zone. It was just bikes
right?
only. Yeah, cycling only. So if that can be introduced, people need to get out of that mindset that, oh, we need the car to do everything. The car,
Mm,
there was life before cars. In the 80s, 90s, not everyone had a car.
yeah,
We could. So it's only like the last 20, 25 years where
It's
now,
increased, has it?
yeah, the amount of traffic and cars is increasing.
yeah.
The kids have grown up. They've all got cars now. 3, 4 cars parked in the driveway. Do you really need? Obviously, we need it for work, but do you need it all the time? Can you not car
I mean,
share? And
no, my family, I grew up without a car. We used bikes to get around everywhere. My mum had a tricycle with me and my brother sat on the back to get around,
Seen them.
where I grew up. And we did all our food shopping on bikes. It's absolutely possible. You can use
yeah,
rucksacks, or you can put those panniers on the back of your bike if you've got a rack. There's all sorts of options available to you. And you're right, absolutely right. If you're only 2 or 3 miles away from the supermarket, why not go on the bike? It might even be quicker.
yeah,
Most of the time it is. I think following on to the question about yourself, as I said, I think I'll add one thing to it, which is to break that mindset of cars and cyclists. Is I think
Yeah,
even when I started doing cycling, I think once you do it for a month, when you go back in the car, you be more respectful, empathy, sympathy. When you see a cyclist, you could think, oh, he's one of us. So you slow
yeah,
down.
exactly.
I'm not sure if you get the feeling. I get it all the time. I
yeah,
say, oh, sometimes I'll just look at the bike. What type of bike is it? So I get into technical side, and you kind of give away, you give that respect.
yeah,
And those who don't have
Yeah,
a bike, so if they did go on a bike first and seen how it's like, the safety measure side, and then jump in a car, then they'll have more respect
yeah,
and
completely
look around
agree.
as well.
I think it's more just there shouldn't be a divide between motorists and cyclists, because a lot of cyclists drive, and I
Yeah,
think if there was more of an overlap between people doing the same, people cycling and driving, because obviously driving is still something that's essential for various
yeah,
different
yeah,
reasons, but short
100%.
journeys, be great if everybody was thinking about going on bikes or walking instead of driving places, because like you say, you would then become, oh, I am a cyclist, or I ride bikes, so I'm going to have more empathy for this person that I've
Mm,
come across who's on a
exactly.
bike, that sort of thing. And I think that happens a lot, like you say, in Netherlands or in Denmark. Everyone does both, so everybody
Yeah.
understands each other's needs on the road and that sort of thing. Completely understand. I agree with you on that.
On the positive side, the cycling has increased since lockdown, so it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not gone down. It's a lot of people doing it. A lot of
yeah,
my friends doing it, and it's increased. There's a group in Oldham I know that just started. It's called the Cycling Imam, which they get the mosque imams together and the cycle. So obviously in Islam we have like the 5 time prayer. So instead of them taking the car, what they've decided, they take the bikes. Let's say 5 in
Oh,
the morning,
brilliant.
and so one imam will go to a mosque. Let's say he'll lead the prayer at the morning at 5 o'clock, 4:45. So then he'll post that on social media. Again, it's that linking the old life and new life together, merging it together. So then inspire another person from another town, and he'll send it at the same time. It's quite nice. And one of the younger, you could say, imam, he goes, I've seen you guys doing it in reference to Muslim night riders, and he got inspired. So the network is growing. So I can say there is an element of growing.
That's great
in a positive sense.
Yeah, that's impressive. And I guess if community leaders like those individuals are doing this sort of activity, then that is definitely going to help to encourage other people to get involved as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, well, I've run out of questions. So do you have any further things to say or add, or?
So what's your background, Jane? I mean, what work-wise and things? What
we didn't ask you.
Yeah. What do you do? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a solicitor, obviously at Leigh. Leigh are quite a medium-sized law firm, predominantly based in London, but I'm at the Manchester branch office, and we represent vulnerable road users who've been seriously injured on the roads. And we look after them in terms of making sure they are able to get back on their bikes. Basically, that's our primary aim, is to sort of make sure they have access to what they need to get back out riding, so that they can live the life that they were leading before the collision happened or whatever it was that happened. But I've been cycling pretty much all of my life. As I say, my family never had a car. They always use bikes to get around. So it's my go-to. It's how I get around. I did have a car momentarily for about 18 months a few years ago, but it ended up being parked outside the house for 4 months without being used, because I just do all my journeys on foot or on my bike, and it's not my first port of call, if you like. So in the end, I just thought, I'm going to get rid of the car because I'm just not using it. So you can see I've got a bike in the background here. I've got a couple of other bikes, and it's my main hobby, cycling. I absolutely love it. And it'd be great if more and more people got involved. And I just really love what you're doing in terms of encouraging and spreading the word. It's fantastic.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
No, thank you for having us first of all on your show.
And just after I watched you on the Walk Ride Greater Manchester meeting on Zoom, I just thought I'd really like to talk to you guys more about what you've been doing. It's really interesting, and it's really great that you're encouraging more people to get out riding and sharing your wonder at cycling.
Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting us.